Good morning, welcome to GrainTV. Today is October 6th. My name is Cody Bills. This is Brock Shimano. Outside markets got some traction the other day. Yesterday, grains had a strong day with anticipation of blockbuster export sales. Overnight seemed to reflect that a bit. Corn up 4.5, beans up 11.5, and wheat up 7 3/4. Brock, I was excited to see the export sales. I know corn came off darn near 23% from its highs. I would certainly think that we'd see some foreign buyers in here in the markets. What did you see this morning?
Yeah, Cody, you're right on with your anticipation there. We did see corn coming at the high end of expectations, up 64% since last week. Very, very good signal on the export front. We saw buyers come from Japan. They had about 490,000 metric tons purchased. South Korea had 418,000 metric tons. And China actually stepped back in. They purchased about 58,000 metric tons of corn again. So we're looking at Southeast Asia increasing their demand for our corn right now. Looks very good on the export front for them. Soybeans, on the other hand, we saw a slight pullback from last week. We still had pretty good export sales. We're at the high end of expectations, with China being a noted buyer there at 350,000 metric tons, about half the soybeans that we plan on exporting this next week. Wheat, on the other hand, is being labeled as routine business, ho-hum, about the same as what we did last week. Mexico being a large purchaser there of about 115,000 metric tons. But Cody, changing gears a little bit, let's talk about what's going on the weather front for the next month or so. The eastern part of the Corn Belt, they had a lot of trouble getting their crops into the ground, had very late planting, which is going to lead to late harvesting, postponed harvest this next month or so. Do we see anything on the horizon that's going to cause them any problems going forward?
Well, yeah, you said it. Planalytics came out with their 30, 60, 90 forecast. Planalytics, a business weather intelligence company, a company we work very closely with. Really, they highlighted in their 30, 60, 90 that the eastern part of the Corn Belt is going to have below average precipitation and temperature really about normal. So it looks like they can really have a strong finish to their crop, and I think that's going to be great considering the fact that Ohio got their crop in so late. Right now they're struggling to get maturity up to reasonable levels. It looks like this next month is going to be very favorable. It looks like they could come out with a great crop this year.
Yeah, it's really surprising considering how late they did get the crop in. This last crop progress report, they were 0% harvested compared to 22% of normal. So I'm looking at that as being, they're very far behind right now. But if we do get some nice weather going out here in October, which it looks like we're going to have, they could have a really nice crop considering the late planting that they did have.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to watch some markets open. Have a good one.
How does an extra 10 to 20 cents per bushel sound to you? Sounds pretty good to us as well. So how do you know where the best markets are? Your best selling opportunity changes on average 6 to 8 times throughout the course of a year. At GeoGrain, we gather and analyze data from over 4,000 grain buyers every single day. We can guide you towards the optimal market. GeoGrain, global markets, local precision. Visit our website for a free personalized market.
Welcome back to GrainTV. Brock, markets are open. What are you seeing?
We are seeing some strength come back into the market. Corn is now up 8 cents after being up 4 cents in the overnight. Soybeans are up 12 3/4. Wheat on Chicago is up 1 3/4, and Kansas City is actually pretty strong at 5 1/4 up. Considering they are anticipating some pretty good rains in the southern plains this week, it's kind of surprising to see Kansas City up actually a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
But just to go along with these thoughts, let's take a look at what some of the December technicals are looking like lately. We have passed through some key points since our high of 779 on August 29th. But what I have here is a chart from our fire tip trading software. You can actually print these off of our software, so it's pretty handy for that regards. But what we're looking at here is Fibonacci retracements, basically retracing the pattern that we saw from July 1st low to the price that we were experiencing right now. So basically, what you're looking at is 3 different levels: the 38%, the 50%, and the 62%. All those levels were broken through in this last downtrend pretty easily, but now where it seems to be finding a little bit of support down there, about the 100% retracement. It's not a real significant level to pay attention to, but it is something that is going on right now, something that you will have to monitor as we go forward. And I'm also looking at a key resistance level at about the 620 mark right there. Cody, what are your thoughts on this chart?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at this. I'm saying, this 575 level is obviously a very important support level. That was the area that everyone got flushed out of their bullish positions after that acreage report came out early on. Of course, we found support, kind of had that little tweezer bottom. You have these nice shadows down here, showed that we traded down, but the sellers didn't have enough oomph to close it down there. Buyers bought it back up. It happened 2 days in a row, and now we're moving higher. And it makes sense. You had a little pressure relieved from that the outside markets, and all of a sudden you have this anticipation for some stronger export sales. You're going to get a little bit of a bounce. My thoughts here is we're going to be a little bit range bound. This 575 mark, that's going to probably be the low side of the range here going forward as we see yields. I think that watching those yields and making sure that they're coming in either on par with expectations, but if we see really consistent yields come in on the high side of expectations, we could very easily go back and retest that level. You're going to want to protect yourself if we move back down.
Yeah, especially heading into that October 12th report. First time the USDA is actually going to revise their expectations for this year, get some actual yield reports in there. And we've seen some private companies come out recently and actually kind of be on both sides of the fence. Informa actually decreased their expected yield. FC Stone actually increased theirs. So there's a lot of uncertainty out there, surrounding the topic of yields right now.
Yeah, considering the volatility right now of prices, producers are going to have to be nimble with their marketing strategy. FireTip is a great way to take control of that marketing strategy, execute it yourself. You have live quotes on your PC. It's easy to get in there, look up options prices, execute options prices, put in limit orders on futures, whatever that strategy is, but you're going to have to be nimble and you're going to have to be very proactive when it comes to your 2011 cash marketing strategy.
Going along with those thoughts, producers really need to be thinking about next year. What's going to be coming down the pipeline?
Yeah.
Right now, they really need to be thinking about what type of seed and what percentage of their corn and soybeans are going to be planted. Cody, I know you found out some information from one of our contacts in Iowa. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. The seed issues. This is going to be an important theme, I believe, for the 2012 growing season. Knowing what the weather conditions are going to be like. Is it going to be a repeat of this year, or are we going to have different weather conditions? We're actually going to have Planalytics on for some special segments next week, and they're going to talk about the early indications of what that 2012 weather situation is going to look like. Of course, you're going to want to make your seed decisions based on those weather conditions. Okay, but right now, I think the concern that I have for producers out there is that there may be shortages for certain seed varieties. In Iowa, we had high wind, we had cross-pollination issues, tens of thousands of acres won't be harvested. We had heat issues, which took seed yield down from 75 to 100 bushels an acre down to like 50 to 75 bushels an acre. The bottom line here is that your favorite seed varieties, the ones that you want to purchase next spring, may not be available. Try and lock in some of that seed early on. You're going to need some cash for that, but it seems like this is the year to make the cash sales closer to harvest with a stronger basis. We don't see as much opportunity for that basis improvement. So you may want to lock in some of those cash sales. You may want to lock in some of that 2012 seed as well. Hey, could you put up Brad Plunkett? He's a great contact in Ohio or Iowa. He's been very good to us. I'm sure he'll be very good to you. Brock, do you have any thoughts on seed as well?
Yeah, that's basically something you got to be concerned with. The biggest thing looking at buying seed is actually getting the cash flow necessary to make those seed purchases. We can always help you out with that. We'll find you an extra 10 to 20 cents in the cash market. Give us a call here at Grain Hedge or visit our website, find out what we have to offer. You can always follow us on Twitter. You can always follow us on Facebook. And you can always give us a call at 877-GRAIN-07.
All right, have a good one.